Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Tahisha Moyes, joined alongside Maddie Gardner and Ben Briscoe. This is an interactive news show meant to build you with the community around us and connect you with them in that way as well, and with us. So during our breaks, be sure to chat with us on the WFMY News 2 Facebook live stream.
We want to know everything from what are you planning to do this weekend to how are you responding to the news of the day. So let's get right to the news of the day. The battle to reopen Ace Speedway will roll into next week. Owners of Ace Speedway and lawyers representing the state spent all day in court. Ace Speedway wants to be allowed to reopen, but the state says that racetrack is a health danger during the pandemic and that they violated the executive order banning mass gatherings of more than 25 people at outdoor venues. Now, witnesses testified today, just a week after a judge granted a temporary restraining order forcing the track's owners to cancel all upcoming practices and races. Now, an Alamance County judge will rule in the case sometime next week, but for now, Ace Speedway will remain closed. One of the police officers involved in the deadly shooting of Breonna Taylor in Kentucky will be fired. The department has started the termination proceedings against Officer Brett Hankins. That's according to the termination letter. He violated procedure when he fired 10 rounds into Taylor's apartment while executing a no-knock search warrant. At the same time he's fired, the FBI was seen searching Taylor's apartment. They are conducting an independent investigation into her death, and agents say it includes reviewing all evidence in the case for themselves. A 16-year-old Guilford County teen is recovering from a shark bite. It happened off the Cape Hatteras National Seashore yesterday afternoon. Now, his family says that teen was jumping over waves on a sandbar just about 25 feet offshore when the shark clamped down. The teen was taken to the hospital in Nags Head where he was treated and released. And two musical legends going head-to-head tonight. Alicia Keys and John Legends will face off in a piano battle on Instagram. That's going to be a tough one to call. It is part of an ongoing series online which started to combat quarantine boredom. Organizers say tonight's battle is also a way to celebrate Juneteenth.
And speaking of Juneteenth, today is the 155th year of Juneteenth, commemorating the end of slavery here in America. It was on this day back in 1865 that the Union troops enforced the Emancipation Proclamation in Galveston, Texas, more than 2 years after President Lincoln first signed it. So historians say that the last enslaved people in the U.S. were finally free. So every year on Juneteenth, many African Americans come together to celebrate that freedom. The day is usually spent reflecting on the value of never giving up hope in uncertain times. Rodney Dawson with the Greensboro History Museum says the principles of Juneteenth are relevant every day.
And it's really not, I think people are realizing it's not a day event. It's a reoccurring event, you know, with the political climate that we're in, with the movements that you're seeing. They're saying that the tenets of Juneteenth, one is gathering people and unity, achievement, education. They're saying, hey, this is applicable almost every week now.
So today, the city of Greensboro officially declared June 19, Juneteenth in the city, and they are marking the day with a series of virtual events to give the community a better understanding of what Juneteenth is. It included performances like spoken word, dance performances as well as some Facebook Live discussions and more. And all of the events are streaming on the City of Greensboro's Facebook page. They've been doing it all morning long. Right now, they're hosting Juneteenth Bingo. Their entire event runs until 7:45 this evening. You can also go back and re-watch anything you missed. And happening right now, a Juneteenth celebration is going on at Douglas Park. This runs until 6 o'clock tonight. Organizers say there is food, face painting, and flag football going on. Temperature checks are happening as well as other wellness offerings.
Well, it's a beautiful sky in much of the Triad right now, a lot of sun to go around, but we do have to worry and be concerned about some downpours or thunderstorms going into the next couple of hours. I'll tell you one thing, we're up to 80. It's actually the first time this week we've been that warm, kind of weird to say, for the month of June. Let's look at the radar. It's getting busier now, so different clusters of showers and storms are popping up across our area. Zooming in, Winston-Salem, High Point, Greensboro, Burlington, all dry right now, but there are some showers and storms getting closer. Let's look at Davie County and Moxville, for example. This shower and storm is headed toward you in Clemens and also toward Arcadia in a little bit. None of these are severe, but you could get some quick rain very quickly, I should say. Southern Alamance County, southeast Alamance, really, there's a bit of a thunderstorm moving into Orange County shortly. And farther to the north near Stokes County and the Virginia border, that is actually a flash flood warning for Patrick County, Virginia, because of the heavy rain rates. Temperatures, accordingly, are warmest where we've seen the most sun, coolest where it has rained, like Wilkesboro, sitting at 66 degrees. Futurecast does show this chance of on-again, off-again rain or storms really continuing into the evening. I don't think they'll die down until after 10 o'clock or maybe even not until after midnight or so. So for the rest of the day, keep your News 2 app very close to you. Keep checking that interactive radar because these things can pop up quickly. We'll do it again tomorrow. It's another warm and muggy day of weather with some of those late day pop-up storms. Coming up, we'll take a look at Father's Day and beyond.
Well, we want to hear what you think about the status of coronavirus in North Carolina and our state reopening. Governor Roy Cooper is expected to make an announcement about whether or not we'll enter phase 3 on Monday. But before he makes that decision, we want to hear from you. What do you think the state should do? Stay in phase 2, move to some kind of modified phase 2.5, go into phase 3, or head back to phase 1? Now, while you vote, let's take a look at the state of COVID-19 in North Carolina. Numbers continue to grow and trend upwards, not exactly what we want to see as we try to reopen. Hospitalizations reached another new record for the 4th straight day. New daily cases jumped to the second highest level thus far with more than 1,600. The testing curve had a slight uptick yesterday with 9% of the tests coming back positive compared to 8% the day before. Continue to vote on WFMY.com/vote now or using the free News 2 app. We'll check those results later.
New this afternoon, one of my favorite events of the year, the women's only 5K is going virtual. Cone Health officials say in order to keep with social distancing guidelines with the race, which normally draws thousands of runners, it will have to be virtual. More information about how the virtual event will work will be released next week. Registration opens on July 1st. Cone Health says no matter what, the race will inspire, empower, and celebrate breast cancer survivors and fighters. And speaking of virtual races, this weekend, the Human Race goes virtual. The Human Race will raise money for dozens of Triad nonprofits and the Volunteer Center. Again, because of the pandemic, organizers are asking folks to sign up and run the 5K on their own. It's easy to do. Just download the app and hit the road tomorrow morning. You can find the It's Your Race app in the App Store. Then you'll register for the Human Race there. In addition to running the 5K, there is also a live community event happening on Facebook this year. If you're interested in signing up or taking part in the event, we have more details for you on WFMYnews2.com.
So masks are now required anytime you step out of the house in California. That same rule is happening in Raleigh and on UNCG's campus. It is just one way state leaders are trying to stop spikes of new coronavirus cases. A look at the virus in the U.S. next on 4 to 5.
New coronavirus spikes are happening all across the country. California now requires masks. Florida hit a deadly high in confirmed cases. CBS News' Danya Backus reports on where health experts are starting to get concerned.
I think you need to stay protected. I really do.
Well, I think they have their place.
That place is now just about everywhere in California after Governor Gavin Newsom's statewide mask order.
We have encouraged for months that you put face coverings on. Now we're no longer encouraging it because too many people are not doing it. We're making it mandatory.
The order came as the number of hospitalizations for COVID-19 in California hit its highest level since April, more than 3,400. Florida reported another 3,200 new coronavirus cases Thursday, an all-time high. Hospitals are now close to 75% capacity.
We were feeling like we were going to be able to handle this, and now it's looking like we're going to be all over ground zero, just patients everywhere.
There are concerns the number of coronavirus patients could continue to increase in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after President Trump holds a campaign rally there Saturday.
We're going to be in Oklahoma, and it's a crowd like I guess nobody's seen before.
Some are already in line outside the 19,000-seat BOK Center.
Is it going to be the rallies like we know of, like in the past that we've been going to, like the ones we went to in February?
The city's health department executive director has recommended postponing the event.
Let me be clear. Anyone planning to attend a large-scale gathering will face an increased risk of becoming infected with COVID-19.
But Oklahoma Republican Senator James Langford says a surge in cases was always inevitable as people leave isolation.
It is a challenge for us. We can't hold the economy down forever.
The Trump campaign will hand out masks, but they're optional. Temperatures will be checked on arrival. Hand sanitizing stations will be available. The event does not include social distancing measures. The campaign has advised those at high risk not to attend. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Now, anyone who requested tickets to President Trump's rally was required to sign a waiver agreeing not to sue if they get the coronavirus.
Well, diagnosing coronavirus is still a major hurdle. It's hard to do until someone starts showing symptoms, but now a smart technology ring claims to show early warning signs by measuring temperature, heart rate, and respiratory fitness. Now, the makers of the Aura Smart Ring claim it can predict symptoms 3 days earlier with 90% accuracy. So I asked you on my Facebook page, would you wear a piece of technology that could alert you to symptoms early? Claire Foster said, I actually have this ring. It's really good. The sleep tracking is good and accurate, gives almost the same as Apple Watch. It's very light, just feels like a normal ring. Pat Young-Rudolph said, I'd like to get my Apple Watch to do this, but with the ability to turn it on and off. Laura Hickley says, yes, we need to help healthcare help us. And Mary McNeely Gann said, very interesting, not so sure about that. And Ronnie Stewart has made his mind up. He says, no way, not going to. So the interesting thing about this is now the NBA is hoping that players will wear this smart ring that could alert them to early symptoms if they return next month in Orlando. That's the plan as of right now. Other people are saying, shouldn't we give this to healthcare people and essential workers first? Are they the people who really need them, not NBA players?
Well, I think it's interesting. You know, since it started, I take my temperature every single day before I leave the house. It would be fun to have something always tracking you like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about wearable tech. I have an Apple Watch that I wear every single day to track my steps and my calorie goals and things like that. So if they installed something, if Apple released some kind of app that would check my heart rate and my respiratory fitness and my temperature, I would certainly download it. I think the earlier you can catch any kind of sickness, the better in treating it.
I'm always a fan of the more information, the better. That is why we're going to have even more news for you coming up after the break.
Yes, mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check. 4 to 5. Mic check. 1, 2, 3.
All right, we have some consumer news to get to today. First, a recall for anyone who drives a Jeep. You're going to want to listen to this. Jeep is recalling thousands of Cherokees because of a transmission problem that could make the cars temporarily lose power. The recall covers around 95,000 Cherokees from the 2014 through 2017 model years. In addition to losing power, the cars could have issues shifting into park, increasing the chances the car could keep rolling and crash. Anyone impacted by the recall should get a notice from Jeep by July 31st. And then we do have a reminder about tax season. You know, you do have less than a month to get your 2019 tax returns filed. Remember, the IRS moved that deadline because of the coronavirus pandemic. You'll now need to file by July 15th. If you'll need an extension, you can still get one. You do just have to contact the IRS directly. The extension will push the deadline to September 15th.
Speaking of dates, Juneteenth is today, and it's a big day. I grew up in Texas, so I'm very familiar with it. But I'm curious, should it be a national holiday, marking the day slavery finally ended in the U.S. because it was announced in Texas? Digital guru Brian Bennett's keeping up with your comments. What's everyone think of the idea, Brian?
Yeah, Ben, a lot of interesting perspectives here. We're going to kick things off with Laura. She says, no, never even heard of it until about a day ago. The only holidays I care about is Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Let's be honest, most people don't even celebrate Martin Luther King Day holiday. Just a day off for them, basically saying it's just another day off. Richard says, sure, but so should Election Day. While Carmen says, I'll be happy to take the day off work. Vicky says, I work in a hospital that is open 365 days a year, holidays included. Celebrate what you want to without the word holiday included. And lastly, Gregory says, we celebrate independence from England. We celebrate our tumultuous relationship with the Native Americans. Why not celebrate this portion of American history as well? Me personally, I do think that it should be a part of a national holiday. I mean, it's a part of American history. And being the land of the free, I really, truly believe that we should celebrate the freedoms of all Americans in this country, plain and simple.
You know, I think you have a good point, and lots of the viewers had a good point too. If you do make it a national holiday, it's important to remember what it stands for and not that it's just another day off work. And I think that's something that we'll definitely have to do in the years going forward.
Absolutely, Ben.
Thanks so much, Brian. We appreciate it. Keep on commenting, and Maddie has some more for you to talk about too.
All right, guys, in case you didn't know, it's Friday. Now, that is reason enough to smile, but I wanted to hear what really made your week great. So coming up after the break, we are sharing your good news. Stick around. You do not want to miss this story full of smiles.
More of the same. Today's like yesterday, folks. Yeah, it really is. We've had a good amount of sunshine throughout most of the morning and the midday hours, which is a plus compared to where we've been most of the week. But what we're seeing now is that same low pressure area sitting over the East Coast. It's allowing for storms to kind of bubble up here and there. None of them in our area have been severe yet, and I don't expect that they will be, but there is at least a small flooding threat. We're actually seeing that up in Southern Virginia for Henry County, Patrick County, City, Martinsville, places like that. Want to talk about our local spots though? Looking at Clemens, this shower is fizzling as it gets closer to you. Storms and showers are moving west to east today. That's different than the last few days. This same pesky system is still around a little bit for tomorrow, so it's just like today. Sunshine, warm, humid, but by the afternoon, at least a couple of pop-ups are going to be possible, mainly from that late afternoon, early evening time frame. That's going to be your Saturday. Going into Sunday for Dad's Day, it's really a partly sunny day, getting a little hotter, less storm activity, mainly a dry afternoon. So as we go into the weekend, the heat, the humidity, they are both building, but the rain chance is actually starting to go down. Looking at a 50% chance of rain for tomorrow, just 20% for Sunday, and very typical summertime levels of humidity and storms going into next week. Here's your full 7-day forecast. Looks like June in North Carolina, if you ask me, will be close to 90 Monday and Tuesday, and even Wednesday of next week, with daily pop-up thunderstorms.
Well, we want to end your week with some reasons to smile, and I thought what better way than by sharing your good news. So I asked you on my Facebook page, what made this week great for you? And you delivered. This week hardly went to the dogs, but your pets are why many of you say it was great. Becky York's pup Santy is all smiles as he gets pets from Poppy. And Jonathan Moore is getting out to explore with his 2 dogs. Meanwhile, Brittany Bailey hit the shore with her furry friends. Fig and Goose are finding some shady sand to relax in on the Outer Banks. And whether it's Donna Simmons' dynamic and diverse duo or double trouble with cats Rocky and Allie, your 4-legged friends are making you smile this week. But fur isn't all it's quacked up to be, according to Christine Maurer, who says her good news is that her ducks got a new pond. Milestones were marked. Debbie Shore-Peagram's granddaughter got her first car. Happy Sweet 16. And way to go, Alyssa Monroe, who is officially a surgical technologist. Time with family always brings good news, but matching PJs make it better, according to Megan Naday and her 3-month-old nephew, Levi. And we'll end on something sweet, family traditions. Paige Snow says her daughter Sadie spent the week in the kitchen perfecting her grandma's pound cake recipe. Well, we always want to share your good news. You can send it to me on my Facebook page, Maddie Gardner News, or on the WFNY News 2 Facebook page. By the way, if that last minute and 15 seconds really got you in a good mood, you're going to want to stick around, because at 5:30, we are doing a full 30 minutes of only good news stories. Sure to end your week on a positive note. More of the 4 to 5 after the break.
Yeah, mic check 1, 2, 3. Is Manning here? I texted him. He didn't text me back about 2 cents, so. Okay. Okay, I didn't see it was in there, so maybe he's. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, great.
Hey, sorry, my volume's still on my computer, so I was hearing Tahisha's voice, which always is a good thing. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My mom's texting me. Hey, Mom.
Yes, hopefully we can still hear me quite clearly and everything is great. Happy Friday, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, we're getting ready for the 4:30. Thank you guys for watching.
Good Friday afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner, joined by Tahisha Moise and Ben Briscoe this afternoon. We're so glad that you are with us. By the way, we want to stay connected with you here on the 4 to 5. That's why we live stream our entire newscast on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Please join our conversation and use our hashtag 4 to 5.
It's so fun because we can see what you think of the show in real time with your comments, and we're responding to you. So please join in. Let's start with your news roundup.
Yes, within the last hour, Governor Roy Cooper has vetoed a bill to reopen bars and gyms here in North Carolina. Back on June 10th, lawmakers passed a bill that would allow bars and gyms to open at a limited capacity. Well, this bill is different from a previous version the governor vetoed because it would have allowed him to reclose bars and gyms with permission from the state council. The bill had been sitting on his desk for almost 10 days, but again, the governor did veto it. We'll have more on the decision coming up at 5 and 6. Former Atlanta police officer Garrett Rolfe waived his first court appearance today. Rolfe was arrested earlier in the week in connection with the deadly shooting of Rayshard Brooks. Brooks was shot and killed after police were called because Brooks fell asleep in his car at a drive-through Wendy's. Now, Rolfe is being held without bond on felony murder and 10 other charges. His lawyer says he is confident his client will be found innocent once all the evidence comes out. AMC Theaters changed policy and will now require people to wear masks when the movie theaters reopen. Earlier this week, the chain announced masks would not be required. Well, after backlash, owners changed course and announced the requirement. AMC is planning to reopen most theaters by mid-July. And this weekend, the One Love mural will be painted in downtown Greensboro. Originally, artists hoped to have the art done by today, but the rain and planning with the city pushed the project to this weekend. Davie Street from Friendly Avenue to A. Brenner Place will close tomorrow at 5 p.m. It will stay closed until Monday when the street mural is complete.
Today is Juneteenth, the day marking the end of slavery in America, and several triad groups are celebrating today and over the weekend, both in person and virtually.
It's been really interesting to watch. The Royal Expressions Contemporary Ballet Company in Greensboro revived its Juneteenth art celebration for a special virtual presentation. They say it's important to mark this day, especially with the current climate surrounding race.
We strongly encourage to watch and discuss, and just we want to spark a conversation within homes. So definitely suggest, if you gather with people, and hopefully there's a lot of Juneteenth celebrations. I'm so excited that this holiday is just really starting to get more and more popular as people are gathering together. Just, take some time, sit down, and we would love for you to sit and watch this with us, and we can chat together online as well.
And we know of several Juneteenth celebrations happening across the Triad this weekend. We have a full list for you on WFNYnews2.com. One of those celebrations is happening right now. You're taking a live look at Douglas Park. This runs until 6 o'clock tonight. Organizers say there is food, face painting, and flag football going on. They are also doing temperature checks as well as other wellness checks.
Here's a look at a few of the other Juneteenth celebrations happening this weekend. Tonight, there are rallies in Winston-Salem and in High Point. That Winston-Salem event starts at 5:30 on 6th Street. The High Point event is tonight at 6 on Brentwood Street. Now tomorrow, the city of Winston-Salem will hold its annual event, although virtually this year. You can watch online on the Triad Cultural Arts Facebook page or on Winston-Salem TV channel 13. And on Sunday, another rally will happen at LeBauer Park in Greensboro. That one takes place from 3 to 7 p.m.
And speaking of Sunday, the weather for that event and for Father's Day looking to be a pretty nice day, Tim.
Yeah, gotta hydrate though, right? It's going to be getting a little hotter, a little more humid, a little bit more like June, which keep in mind this week has been a break from June. We're going back to that over the weekend. Temperature right now sitting at 80 degrees, partly sunny skies, a pretty nice afternoon in much of the Triad, but we are seeing some scattered downpours and thunderstorms. If you haven't had any yet, the chances are you may run into one over the next several hours going into this evening. Here's the latest look over the Triad. Still all dry in Guilford County, mostly dry in Forsyth and Randolph and Alamance counties. Just a couple of little showers here as we zoom in closer to Moxville and Davie County. They've actually been weakening and fizzling out over the last little bit. Over toward Alamance County, there were some heavy downpours really in southeast Alamance County, but they've moved over closer to Chapel Hill and Carrboro and Orange County at this time. Farther to the north, near the Virginia border, there really has been very heavy rain and storms not too far from Martinsville and also in Patrick and Henry counties. Temperatures just depends on if you've seen rain or not. Other folks are in the mid-80s. Some in the 60s. It just depends on what's been happening weather-wise for you. Over the next few hours, as I said, showers and storms will just dance and kind of pop up across the area. This continues all the way through about 10 o'clock or even a little longer, but after midnight, things should start to die down. It's a lot like what we saw last night, folks, and tomorrow will be more of the same. It's muggy in the morning, warm in the afternoon. I'm expecting a high of 84 degrees for your Saturday. And if you have outdoor plans tomorrow, just make sure you're checking up on the weather. You know, don't just set it and forget it. Keep on looking at your News 2 app. The interactive radar will help you out if storms are forming and heading your way.
Happening right now, everyone in Raleigh is now required to wear a face covering out in public. That new rule kicked in today, just as this video is gaining traction online. Medical students showed how a mask can help prevent the spread of coronavirus. The two cough on petri dishes, first not wearing a mask and then wearing a mask. Take a look at the difference between the two. This one is even with a homemade face covering, not just a surgical mask. Hey, while we're at it, have you seen this video yet? Researchers at Ohio Health put out a video on YouTube showing why you don't want to touch your face while you're using your mask and taking off. Those germs get everywhere. Daisha, it is so hard not to touch your face. I can't do it.
I mean, you're talking about touching my face. I feel like I need to adjust my hair.
It's perfect.
But you look at those videos and, oh, thank you. Oh, I just touched my face. No, but you take a look at those videos and it really puts it into perspective for you because, you know, sometimes healthcare professionals can, you know, say things and sometimes you gotta be a see it to believe it kind of person. So when you see the germs right there on the mask, I mean, you don't touch it.
Right?
Don't touch it.
It definitely burns into your memory, and we've got something else that's going to do that too. I want you to take a look at this spray paint and poster board. It's the results of a must-see demonstration from 2 Wants to Know. We're showing the impact a mask can have coming up on WFMY News 2 at 6.
North Carolina retailers are starting to open for business, but what shoppers want or need has certainly changed because of this pandemic. That's why one Greensboro company has shifted from making beach-themed home decor to now exporting personal protective equipment.
Well, my partner now likes to say that, you know, we went from mermaids to masks in 2 weeks. It literally went from like, we're in our peak season. If you think about stores needing goods in March and April so that they would be in peak for, you know, stock levels for the summer when everybody is at the beach or people are redecorating their condos or whatever. So it went to a complete standstill, shut down, but then the PPE, you know, has started to take over. So we have a lot of orders. We're sending stuff out to, for example, people it's more business related to people that are needing to open up. Restaurants that need face shields, restaurants that need, masks, whatever they need to comply with social regulations now to open back up. We started a company. It's AMDGoneViralSolutions.com, and that's it's an umbrella company. Too fancy that. When we're supplying, healthcare workers, it's a life and death situation. So it was a lot of stress and responsibility to make sure that we were really, shipping quality goods. Yes, it was a way for us to compensate for some of the loss, but at the same time, we feel like it was a very responsible thing to do, and we're glad that we're able to help others right now.
Well, still ahead, you are sounding off. What do you think our state should do next? Move ahead to phase 3, stay in phase 2, or maybe even move backward? Let us know. Go to WFMY.com/vote now or use the free News 2 app. We're going to take a look at your results. Coming up next on the 4 to 5. Welcome back. Let's get back to our question of the day. What should the governor decide about reopening our state? You can weigh in right now on WFMY.com/vote now or use the free News 2 app. Your options: stay in phase 2, create a modified phase 2.5, go ahead into phase 3, or go back to phase 1. Now, while you keep voting, let's take a look at what you should know about the virus and the public places where it can spread.
Here's a breakdown of 6 common activities and the level of exposure associated with each, according to experts. First, going out to eat. Experts agree that eating outdoors is safer than inside because of the increased ventilation. It's still risky, but your best bet is to dine on a restaurant patio that's observing strict social distancing and sanitizing protocols. Be sure to wear your mask whenever you're not eating. Next, going to a gym. Even if your gym is open, you're better off exercising outdoors, our experts say. The shared equipment and restricted ventilation make it harder to avoid exposure. If you're traveling, you might be debating whether it's best to drive or fly. Both are risky, but you have more control of your environment in a car than in a plane. But be sure to continue precautions when stopping for bathroom or food breaks. What about a summer barbecue? Technically, you can decrease risk by remaining outside, spacing families 6 feet apart, and avoiding physical contact and shared food items. But realistically, that might be hard to enforce, especially when alcohol is involved. Our experts also classify worship services as very risky. Your chance of exposure increases the longer you're around people and the more people there are in the group. Plus, singing could spread more aerosols, the particles that usually carry the virus. Which leads us to the riskiest activity, going to bars. Bars are a toxic mix of enclosed areas and alcohol, which could cause people to let their guards down. It's best to continue to avoid bars for the time being.
Let's get a check of the results here. The majority of you at home say we should stay in phase 2. Tasha, you surprised by that?
No, I'm not, especially, reading some of the comments too. Some people are even mentioning, they go to the grocery store, they don't really see people wearing masks, more so this week than comparatively to next week. So I'm anxious for the governor's announcement come Monday to see what he's going to say.
That is right. We're going to have complete coverage this weekend too about what will go into that announcement on Monday. But for now, it looks like most of you want to stay where we are. We'll be right back.
just wanna live. God protect me.
Well, you likely remember him. That is 12-year-old Keydron Bryant, whose song I Just Want to Live went viral in the wake of George Floyd's death. The song expresses life as a black man in today's world. It was written by his mother. Now, after that song went viral, it caught the attention of Warner Records, and Bryant has now signed a record deal with them and officially released I Just Want to Live Today in honor of Juneteenth. You can find the song on major platforms like Spotify and Apple Music.
All right, folks, have you had any rain today? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but odds are before we get to midnight, you probably will see at least something. Here's the sky over Greensboro, at least, though. Some sun, some cloud cover. It's really not a bad afternoon. If you look at the numbers, winds are light, so not much of a breeze. We're at 80 degrees, which is warmer than we've been, but still not too hot for this time of year. And the humidity is slowly creeping up. That dew point is now at 65 degrees, which makes it feel a little bit on the sticky side compared to the cool air earlier this week. Right now, the radar looks rather busy, but honestly, we're in a bit of a sandwich. It's been busier in the mountains and busier over in the triangle, with us caught in between. Latest radar right now, still all clear in Guilford County for the moment. But over in Forsyth, we're noticing at least a couple of downpours. Let me nudge the radar up a little bit north of Winston-Salem. You see these popping up right there near Bethania and not too far from Tobaccoville. They'll be moving up into Stokes County within short order, just the next 20 minutes or so. So we have radar to track for you really over the next several hours as we go through about 10 o'clock or midnight tonight. Temperatures hovering around 80 degrees, but if we look at your Father's Day weekend, it's going to get about warmer. 84 for tomorrow, upper 80s by Father's Day, and we'll be close to 90 with daily pop-up storms heading into next week.
It is our time to honor some great grads in the class of 2020. Many turned their tassels in the past week, virtually or at drive-through ceremonies. We wanted to try and make a milestone achievement a little more special with all of this going on with our senior shout-outs. Emily Archibald graduated from Southwest Guilford High School. She was a cheerleader, ran track and cross country. She had a 4.4 GPA. She is the head of the University of Tennessee, is where she's heading, and she plans to major in speech pathology. Now to some double graduates. Brooke and Reese Walser are siblings. Brooke graduated from Catawba College, while Reese graduated from East Davidson High School. Brooke was accepted in Ovant's residency program in the ER. She plans to keep studying and get a master's in mental health counseling while playing softball at school. Reese was a star wrestler, voted most dependable by his classmates, and will study civil engineering at UNC Charlotte in the fall. Jacob Marshall graduated from Reedsville High School. He played basketball on the team that was conference champs and is also active in his church. He plans to keep playing basketball in North Carolina, Westland, and Rocky Mount, and will study graphic design.
Father's Day is this Sunday, but we just wanted to take some time a few days early to say thank you to all the dads out there and to spread some love your way. So I asked you all on Facebook to post your favorite photo of you and your dad. Let's take a look at a few of them. Brittany Wall writes here, here's me and my dad last year at my college graduation party. He was one happy dad. Vicki Ferguson writes, this is the last picture we took together before my dad passed away 2 years ago. And Maddie Gardner here on the 4 to 5, she sent in this photo. I certainly share my love of dessert with my dad, sending gelato love to him this Father's Day. And this was the photo that I posted on Facebook. It's a photo of me and my dad. I was probably just a few days old there, and I just think it's so precious of how I can just feel the love from my father there. You know, I was home last week, and so I was able to give him his Father's Day gift in person, and I haven't been able to do that in so long.
That's so great that you got that connection right now. I know a lot of people are separated from their families. Still, that phone call, that FaceTime goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't be able to see my dad on Father's Day this year, but he is fulfilling some very important dad roles, granddad roles. He's in Texas visiting my sister and her newborn twin. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We love you. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
We also have even more coming up today at 5. Digging deeper in today's Ace Speedway court hearing, witnesses for both the racetrack and the state health leaders spent hours testifying. We'll break down the arguments on both sides and what this could mean for future races in the triad. That's in just a few minutes. To race or not to race, that's the question.
Hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, Tim, mic check.
Hi there, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Last week, Ace Speedway lost their first round in Alamance County Court, but today, hey, mic check 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? We are live outside of the Alamance County Court.
It's time for my 2 cents. On this Juneteenth, I take time to reflect on history. Today is the day that commemorates the end of slavery in America. But here's the thing, growing up, I never heard anything about it. It wasn't celebrated much that I knew of in my hometown area in Massachusetts. It wasn't taught in my school. I didn't learn about it until 5 years ago when I worked in Waco, Texas, and learned of the celebrations they held, which makes sense considering Juneteenth stems from General Granger's announcement on June 19, 1865, that the enslaved in Galveston, Texas were free. I've asked around to my friends and read a lot on social media that this year is the first time they heard of it. A big turning point in America's history left out of the majority of history books. And then there's the Tulsa Massacre in 1921, where an area known as Black Wall Street was burned down by an angry mob. 2 major events thrust into the national spotlight this week. This week, in 2020, some people are hearing about them for the very first time. I think that's sad. Those 2 parts of history join a laundry list of Black history that's not always talked about. You hear a little bit about slavery. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln helped abolish it. Cool. Then you have Black History Month, and you get a sanitized version of the Civil Rights Movement. You don't hear about the uncomfortable truths, the uncomfortable oppressions Black people face throughout history in this country. And schools have a responsibility to teach our kids this critical history. Knowing the true history of this country is important, no matter how hard it is to stomach. Being familiar with the past events gives us the ability to not only learn from those mistakes, but to see how that history is shaping the present. I think we are doing a disservice to our future generations if we continue to brush hard history under the rug. If it's not taught in school, let's teach it at home, and let's never forget. Form your own opinion. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.